It's a great time, and actually before the next snowstorm that's going to be coming, it's a great time to start planning for your spring builds and planning your landscape. So we brought him on board today just to ask him some questions and how you do it and what you do and what the consumer should know and why sometimes it's not always smart to try to do it yourself, because I know you spend a lot of extra money sometimes. So Joe, welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about how you started in the business, why you started in the business, and a little bit about the history of the company.
Sure. Started 10 years ago. This is actually our 10th year anniversary, so we're excited about that. So we started in 2005. I started while I was at IUPUI in the Building Construction Management program. Was working for a landscape company. Times were slow, so I just started kind of doing side jobs for some extra money, and it just kind of evolved into where we're at today.
So you went out and bought a lawnmower and started cutting people's grass, or did you start the building the process?
Actually, the first piece of equipment I bought was a plow truck and a snowplow. Then we had a good winter that year, so then I turned around and bought a mower and a trailer, and then from there was doing landscaping and then mowing, and it just kind of snowballed into where we're at today.
I mean, literally, when it's snowing or talking about snow, the guy is by his phone constantly because he has to call all of his guys and make all the arrangements to get them out there. I mean, it's not too late if somebody even needs your services this year. So you can actually find his information on the screen, and if you would like to tell us how we can get a hold of you.
Yeah, you can call the office. Our number's online, as well as it's just 784-LAWN. You can reach us on Facebook. You can reach us by email, website. So there's plenty of ways to get a hold of us. If you're not happy with your current provider, we do have capacity to take on new customers.
And for those people that are going to be listening to this on the radio next week, it's at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the evenings, what is your phone number? What's the best phone number to reach you directly?
Me directly is my cell phone, and that is 697-6721, or the office, which is 784-5296.
Very good, very good. So what all types of services do you provide, and who do you serve in your landscaping and your snow removal needs?
Okay, so we're kind of broken up into 3 or 4 departments, believe it or not. We have 90%, which is commercial maintenance. And by commercial maintenance, I mean your weekly mowing, your weekly, bed care, so pulling weeds in the cracks, crevices in your beds, your fertilizations, your prunings, your irrigation maintenance, your spring cleanups, your fall cleanups, your summer flowers, spring flowers. So just kind of your standard commercial.
Maintaining the commercial property.
Exactly. The second part of that would be, estate maintenance. So let's say you have a large estate home with like an acre of turf or so. Basically, our commercial services are mirrored off of that same type of service guideline, but a little more detailed because it is a personal residence. Third, we have kind of our construction department, which will do paver patios, retaining walls, or your softscapes, landscape design, or just basic landscape consulting services. So therefore it allows the homeowner to say, hey, I'm a big do-it-yourselfer, but I need some help or some guidance. Can you help me out here? We have no problem in allowing, we'll just come in and design it and consult you, but then giving you the information so you can do the job yourself. We also do city roadsides. So by city roadsides, I mean we do the bush hogging and maintaining the street sides and acreage for the city of Indianapolis. So if there are some fields or large parcels of land that you just want to have bush hogged once a year, you can give us a call and we can also help you with that as well. Snow removal, that's a beast of its own, and we do everything from homeowners associations to condominiums to driveways to industrial warehouses. So believe it or not, we do more snow removal than we do lawn and landscape.
Absolutely. And I remember I used to just text him and say, I can't get out of my garage. And so he would just come and plow. And it takes him 2 minutes where I would be out there 2 days trying to get the snow moved. But what do you think As far as the consumer, I know most commercial businesses, they always hire it to be done. And I know I built my house, and the landscaping they give you when you have a house built, if it's not a custom home, is not very pleasant.
Right.
What are the biggest mistakes that the average homeowner or any homeowner usually makes when it comes time to their landscaping?
I would say the biggest one that we see a lot of times is not planning ahead. I mean, a lot of times people are like, oh, I want to just go out and buy some shrubs and flowers and pop them in the ground. But they don't realize that, plants are very needy. There can be low maintenance and high maintenance. But so if you're not taking into account maybe soil pH levels or how much sun or shade a plant requires or, moisture content, those are all things that, need to be taken into consideration to have a healthy landscape.
And I had no idea of all that information. That could be why a lot of my plants don't make it.
Mine either.
We are going to have to take a short break now. And we will be back with Joe Widridge, and Gina will be asking questions the next segment, and we will be right back.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage: Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Everyone knows it's easy to find first-run movies in the big theaters. But where can you go to watch your favorite classic movies on the big screen for the perfect night out? Why rent a flick when you can rent the entire theater? Call today to reserve our 32-seat theater for your next event, or just stop by to see what's showing this weekend. The 14 by 7 foot screen and the high quality digital surround sound system offers all the amenities you would expect from the big theaters, with a laid back atmosphere and comfortable seating of your own home. Wofford Theater at 1744 South 10th Street in Noblesville gives you the classic movies you want with a big theater experience.
Connections, and we are here today with our guest Joe Widridge with Widridge Lawn and Landscape. And in the last segment he talked a lot about the different types of services that they provide, but in this segment I wanted to ask some more questions that the typical homeowner or person might have when it comes to different things that might be going on with their lawns.
Sure.
So do you guys do anything? I know that the neighborhood that I used to live in had a lot of moles. How do you guys, do you deal with that, or do you help?
Yes. So lawn and landscaping and moles are always two that kind of get thrown into the same category. Believe it or not, moles will just feed off of grubs, earthworms, and insects in the soil. So typically, as a lawn care provider, we offer insect control for your lawn. Now, is it the best thing to do? I mean, it depends. If you're seeing a lot of grub damage or moles, yes, it will help. But as far as just a standard treatment, it's not a necessity. But moles are, your best avenue when you're trying to catch the moles and control them is just to maybe either hire somebody that specifically is targeting moles, or maybe go to a convenience store and pick up a mole trap or two. So.
Okay.
They'll tear up a yard.
Oh, yes, they will. And then I guess, one of the problems that I always have with my plants is that I am never there to water them often enough. So can you explain why having a proper irrigation system makes sense for people and what all that can do?
Definitely. Irrigation is another line item that can always be either helpful or hurtful. Typically, we see a lot of times of improper watering practices, and a lot of times, people have these systems. They aren't educated on how to use them, or the irrigation company will come out and set the system up, and then they don't tell you, hey, this is, how much water, a zone should get, or take into account that if you're watering a slope and then you have runoff, or, the heads are maybe throwing up the slope or throwing down the slope. And so typically the best ideal as far as getting water to flower beds or turf would be an inch of water on a weekly basis.
Okay.
Now for flower beds, there's a system called a drip zone, and it's just kind of like a garden hose with a bunch of little holes that will have water run through, and it will just slowly put out water.
Okay.
You can do spray heads, which are just kind of you see them pop up and they just spray out. But so, kind of balancing that right mixture of flowers versus turf is critical as far as when it comes to irrigation and maintaining the two different styles of landscape there.
Okay, so the best thing that a homeowner should do if they, or and a business owner too, if they want to have their lawn or area spruced up, is to call you, have you come out and maybe do a walkthrough and then help them with the space planning of that whole area.
Definitely.
So, okay.
Yeah, because with that, I mean, when it comes time to landscape or even install a patio, a lot of times people are like, oh, I want this elegant outdoor living space, and it's like, okay, well, how do you plan to use the space? I don't know. I mean, we didn't think about that. Okay, well, what size of patio would you like? Then it's like, well, that's a good question. Well, do you entertain a lot, or is it just for you and your family? Then I tell them, okay, well, for a frame of reference, picture a room in your household. A 10 by 10 patio, so 100 square feet, typically is a small dining room. Well, is that enough for you and your family? Or, do you have a small family, or is it just you and your husband? Or, if that works for you. Sometimes people want, something bigger because they love to entertain. So, just kind of putting that in perspective for everybody to kind of get a good visual, because, then it helps. It's like, well, yeah, this is right. Or maybe, no, I'd like something a little bit bigger.
So you make them discover what they really want,
exactly.
what they really need.
Right.
So do you get a lot of people that say, oh, I saw this on HGTV and I want my yard to look just like this?
Sometimes we oftentimes will let people,
I watch HGTV.
The DIY network can either be our enemy or our friend.
I bet.
So we do tell people, hey, bring articles, internet columns, whatever, pictures. The more pictures you can offer us, the better we can go back and design what you're after.
Okay. Wow, that sounds like a great service that many people probably don't even know that, they can. I mean, is that something that you guys offer? I'm sure you don't do all the space planning, but if somebody wanted to just have a walkthrough and to get some ideas, and then, is that something you provide?
Yeah, just the general consulting. Because like I said, I mean, there are a lot of people that enjoy doing the landscaping themselves, and that are capable of doing it, but just, having a plan and starting with that plan is, what they might need help with.
So if I go out and I buy this gargantuous grill, you can kind of build it all in for me with hardscapes and make it all pretty?
Yes and no. I mean, sometimes there are limits, but I mean, hey, anything can be done with the
That was my next
price.
question. Yeah, I just was imagining those big bad boy grills out in the backyard that are surrounded
I've
by
seen him do fire
fountains
pits,
and all of
he
that
does
good
really
stuff.
well. He just makes it look too easy, though.
Yeah, we can do fire pits. I mean, fireplaces, grills,
Yeah, fountains and
yeah. Pondless waterfalls. So
Okay.
And if you go to their Facebook page, you'll find a lot of things that they've done. I mean, you did a big project downtown Indianapolis, didn't you? On some kind of a convention center type thing or something?
Yeah, this last fall, that was actually up in Carmel.
Carmel,
it was for they wanted to establish a business conference outdoor type of environment. So we built a bocce ball court. We installed a kind of a conference area with stamped concrete or exposed aggregate, and then we also installed a outdoor fire pit out there as well with a bunch of landscaping.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
Wow. So I'm sure that was like one of your larger projects that you've done.
Towards the end of the year, yeah. I mean, this year we're excited. We're apart from planning and budgeting. I don't know if too many people know this, but Metropolis Mall in Plainfield was recently purchased by a company out of Tennessee. So they're going through and they're going to rebrand Metropolis Mall, and we have been involved so far with planning, budgeting, and now we're getting ready to start the groundwork on Metropolis.
Very cool.
Okay. So the last question for this segment, do you ever deal with lawns where another company has came out and provided too many treatments or has very much damaged a lawn and then you have to kind of repair it from that state?
Yeah, actually, a couple of years ago, we got a phone call from a lady that was wanting us to come out and assess her lawn, and said, when the technician came out, he killed the lawn, and he did. I mean, he grabbed the wrong backpack sprayer that had a Roundup chemical instead of the lawn herbicide, and yeah, there were brown spots all over the yard. So insurance was involved, and we had to provide a quote as far as restoring that lawn.
Okay. Well, wow. It seems like you guys cover from the small all the way to the largest project somebody could probably think of. You're capable
Just
of
that
handling
one-stop shop.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, we want to thank our sponsors, Logan Street Signs and Banners and the Wofford Theater, for hosting us. And we're going to take a small break, and we'll be back with our third segment.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage. Logan Street Signs and Banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Everyone knows it's easy to find first-run movies in the big theaters. But where can you go to watch your favorite classic movies on the big screen for the perfect night out? Why rent a flick when you can rent the entire theater? Call today to reserve our 32-seat theater for your next event, or just stop by to see what's showing this weekend. The 14 by 7 foot screen and the high quality digital surround sound system offers all the amenities you would expect from the big theaters, with a laid back atmosphere and comfortable seating of your own home. Wofford Theater at 1744 South 10th Street in Noblesville gives you the classic movies you want with a big theater experience.
Connections. We have a great guest today that's helping everyone plan their landscaping needs. And this segment I kind of wanted to focus on when a homeowner or a business, building owner for a business, when they go to hire somebody, what are 2 or 3 of the main questions that they should ask before they ever hire a landscaping company? Because I know people don't know these.
Yeah, so we have kind of developed 8 questions ourselves to help homeowners out there kind of interview the landscape contractor, whether it's us or anybody that's coming to do a job. First, with hardscapes, people think, oh, it's so easy. I can just, put some bricks down in the ground and call it a day and make a patio. But for different patio applications, there are different policies and procedures that we're supposed to abide by. Believe it or not, let's say if I come out and I build you a patio, but I don't ask you in the future, hey, are you planning to put, a hot tub out here? Well, the weight of that hot tub will cause that patio to sink if not, the preparation is given to the base of that patio. So that's one that we say, is always.
Well, and you've seen evidence of that because I sent you a picture of my sister's back patio where it's caving in and the grill's falling off and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that's the first one. To ask the contractor, hey, do you have any certifications or special training, that you guys practice or that you hold? Tip for hardscapes, there's 2. For patios, there's ICPI, and then for retaining walls, it's NCMA. So it's just kind of the National Concrete Masonry Association training that says, hey, you guys are abiding by, the common practices for your
Right.
Midwest region.
Right. And aren't they working on some kind of certification for fertilizing and stuff like that too? The state or
The-
city or somebody?
Well, with the fertilizations for your chemical technicians, they have to abide by this Indiana State Chemist, and that's been in place for a while, and that's also through Purdue University. Now, the biggest one on the commercial side that's hasn't come out yet, but it's out there, and only 5 companies in the nation are a part of this program, is the Snow and Ice Association certified commercial contractors. And what that is that a group of attorneys and then a group of insurance agencies have gotten together and said, hey, these are the common lawsuits, these are the common slip and fall claims that have come up.
Which will help prevent the flip-flop Freddies and the chuck in a truck from jumping in and putting a plow on their truck and going and plowing snow and getting somebody hurt,
Exactly. And not only that, but then also hurting the pricing for our industry as well, because
Right.
that's the biggest thing that we face a lot of times is that you have so many weekend warriors, so to say, that come in, oh yeah, I can do this, and then they realize that hey, this is really more than I can really do in a weekend, and that I can't finish the job. And we've gotten those phone calls before, and I mean it kind of really hits you hard, because you have to realize that these homeowners have already either invested in another company, and then you have to come in and you have to break the news to them. I'm sorry, but now this job's going to cost you twice as much, because not only do you have to fix what they did, but then you have to finish the job. So it turns out to be you have twice as much invested in that project.
Well, and I do notice because I've seen your equipment before. Tell them a little bit about what your company does every couple years, as far as equipment, whether you lease it or buy it, and what kind of equipment you use.
So we have something that we do to try to differentiate ourselves is that all of our trucks and equipment is to be washed before it goes out on the road. I mean, I don't want to see a dirty truck leave our shop. I have very high expectations as far as our equipment goes. We purchase all of our equipment, and every depending on when that equipment was purchased, though, would be 5 to 7 years as far as replacing that equipment. So everything that we have in our fleet is maintained on a regular basis, whether it's routine maintenance or if it's longevity maintenance.
Well, you actually have a guy that does just maintenance on that too, don't you?
Yeah, we have a night mechanic and a day shift mechanic to
Right,
maintain everything. So
And how many new mowers did you buy this year?
we just purchased 15 new mowers this
Wow.
year, and it's all propane, so it's a green alternative fuel.
And how many employees do you guys have?
We staff 40
Wow,
in the heat of the season.
wow.
So
That's a lot. That's a lot of great jobs you're providing for folks. Yeah. So another one of the questions that people should ask the potential service providers that they're looking at would be what?
well, there's a couple. I mean and we'll publish these on our Facebook page if anybody wants to log on and check it out. So they can have these in black and white. But a couple of the others is do you have the necessary engineering, construction degrees, the training to perform the job that we are after or the homeowner is after. Do you rent or do you own the equipment to do this job? Because sometimes that equipment's not available at the time that someone is needing the job to be performed. How is your staffing? I mean, do you have enough guys? Or are you going to have to go out and look for new guys? I mean, are you guys drug free? Are they going to show up in uniform? Are they going to be blasting music on the job site? Are they gonna, these are all things that at the time it's not that big of a deal, but when you get that phone call from your neighbor saying, hey, these guys are blasting rock music all day and being loud, it's already bad enough that they're running their saws and their skid
Leaving
steers.
cigarette butts in their yard.
Right. I mean, so, typically we'll go door to door and say, hey, we'll be in the, the area next week. We're working on a project, next door to you. If there's ever a problem, call us, contact us, reach out to us, let us know. I mean, we want to help. We don't want to, be a nuisance in the neighborhood.
Wow, I've never seen a company
Yeah,
do
me
that.
neither. That's very nice.
So just, those little details, I mean, will make a big difference on any project, because that's the last thing is, we don't, we're there for maybe 1 or 2 weeks, but your neighbors are there for, years. So.
Yeah. So when it comes down to people that are trying to plan things for their yard, I heard you ask a question, or they should ask if they're renting or purchasing the equipment. But do you ask the homeowners, are they renting or purchasing their home? Because if they want to put in all of this beautiful stuff and it's not even their home that they're going to be living in for, the long haul, would you make recommendations as to what they should do? Or
In the initial consultation, our designers will talk to them as far as, are you looking for longevity? How long do you plan to be here? Those are all key, ingredients to, the pieces of the puzzle to say, okay, how much money typically does someone want to invest as far as getting a return on their investment?
Sure.
But I have never personally ran into somebody that's, renting and is willing to invest all this money into a home that they're going to end up leaving.
Yeah.
But those are all good key questions.
Okay. And so another question I had, you know what? I guess we're going to have to wrap it up for today. I have so many questions I didn't know we were running out of time. So
You'll just have to go to his Facebook page and ask him.
yes, check out his Facebook page, Wild Ridge Lawn and Landscape, and tune in next week for Hook Connections.